Right, welcome to Leaving Cert French with Tony. Now, with the Leaving Cert orals on the horizon, we're going to look today at a typical enough topic, my journée typique, my typical day, specifically le matin, the morning. And we're going to start by demonstrating how a struggling student might put together a basic but passable answer, and then we'll look at bringing that to H1 standard in a series of steps. So let's start with the basics. So to put together an answer on this topic, if we take 5 verbs, lever to raise, laver to wash, manger to eat, préparer, as you might guess, to prepare, and quitter to leave. And now each of these are what are called regular ER verbs. They're called ER verbs because they end in an ER, and they're called regular because they all follow a similar pattern. So whatever tense you're putting them in. So if we're putting these in the present tense to say what we do each morning, well, let's just look at that pattern. So we take another ER verb, regarder, and watch or look at. So if you're saying I watch or I look at, it's je regarde, as you see there. Just instead of the ER, we have an E at the end, and the E is silent. So we apply that with these guys, version 1. Now we're saying, so I raise, je lève, I wash, je lave, I eat will be je mange, I prepare, je prépare, and I leave then is je quitte. Now, of course, if we're talking about what we do first thing in the morning, we don't really want to just say I raise, it's I raise myself is what we're saying, je me lève. Now we see je me, this is what's called a reflexive verb. We can look at those in detail another time, but the basic idea is someone is doing something to himself or herself. So literally I, me, raise is I get up, raise myself à 7h30, 7:30, literally 7 hours and a half. Et je me lave, so another reflexive verb, laver to wash. So I wash me, wash myself, dans la salle de bain, in the bathroom or room of bath, literally. Ensuite, then is next, je mange, so I eat mon petit déjeuner. So déjeuner is your lunch, petit déjeuner, my breakfast, literally little lunch. Et je prépare mon cartable, I prepare my school bag, cartable. Je quitte la maison, I leave the house à 8h20, 20 past 8, literally 8 hours 20. So that's our basic answer that will get you through if you're struggling. Now, we want to make that a little bit fancier. What new structure can we add in instead of simply saying I do this or I do that? Well, if you want to say after doing something, so for example, after eating my breakfast or whatever, or after washing myself, whatever. So how do we do it? So après is the after bit, and then, well, it's après avoir mangé is what we say. This is called the past infinitive, this structure, which might sound a bit fancy, but it's just with almost all verbs, it's the infinitive of avoir. Now the infinitive, by the way, is just kind of the name of the verbs, as in manger, eat, or préparer, to prepare. It tends to be translated to do something in English, but sometimes where in English we'd have an ing word after having eaten, in French they will have just an infinitive. So anyway, that's after eating, après avoir mangé, literally after having eaten. It's an ER verb like manger, just an accent. That's called the past participle, just an acute accent on the E. So if you wanted to say after preparing, now if you want to pause for a moment and think yourself about how you would say that, because I'm going to tell you now. So it's après, if you can see that, okay, avoir, bit untidy, préparer. So same idea, the avoir as the auxiliary verb, and then the préparer, just an E acute at the end if it's an ER verb. Okay, so let's look at version number 2 then, slightly more sophisticated, hopefully. So we're saying je me lève à 7h30 et je me lave dans la salle de bain. No change there. But we're now saying après avoir mangé mon petit déjeuner, je prépare mon cartable et je quitte la maison à 8h20. Okay. Now, if we want to go up another notch to version 3, say you want to say before doing something. So I eat my breakfast before preparing my school bag, or I wash myself before eating my breakfast. Well, where after was après, so before then it's avant, and this time we simply have avant, and then we have a de, and just the infinitive, just the standard infinitive manger, just the full thing with er. So again, another case where we've ing in English, but just it's the infinitive in French, avant de manger. So if you want to say before preparing, for example, again, if you want to pause and have a think about that, if you're in any doubt, because I'm going to tell you now, it's avant de préparer. So exactly the same idea, just the avant, the de, and just the infinitive of the verb préparer. Okay, by the way, these structures, again, ideally, rather than simply use them in your answer about your typical morning, once you have the hang of them, then you can potentially use them in a diary or a message or a story, narrative. So, it's just worth being aware of that. So let's look at version 3. So what are we saying? Je me lève à 7h30 et je me lave dans la salle de bain. Same again. Après avoir mangé mon petit déjeuner, je prépare mon cartable avant de quitter la maison à 8h20. So that's the new innovation there, avant de quitter. So we've now added in 2 new structures, and in fact, that's it then for today. Now I have another structure. I also have a bit more to say about our past infinitive, a little bit more to be said about that. A majority of verbs where you're using this structure, it'll just be avoir there and a e acute here, but we'll just look at the other cases in more detail in the next video, and we've also got one more structure to add in just to bring our sentences up to top marks. Okay, so that's it. The last thing, that's my email if you're interested in one-to-one. It's €35 for the hour, and that's it, keltony@gmail.com. Bye for now.